Hey everybody, it is me, Hydreigon Master 635, and welcome to my very first episode of my little weekly report I'm going to start doing called PokeXhibit. So, right now, I decided to start off the PokeXhibit with a review of the set Dark Explorers, or Dark Rush, which is the Japanese set. So, pretty much, we've only had 3 cards officially released as part of the set, which were the Umbreon, Zoroark, and Darkrai. And I guess Cofagrigus counts too because he was part of the deck. But yeah, so pretty much just looking at the pack art, the decks, and the little blister that we have released already, which they look pretty cool. We got Venusaur, Excadrill, Darkrai, obviously, and Scrafty as the faces of the set, which is awesome. And of course, we have a Zoroark deck, which we all know I love. And the Cofagrigus really sucks, but we'll get to that later. And we get the evolutionary line of Crocodile in a 2-pack blister, which completely sucks, and I don't get that. But anyway, let's just get straight into the cards. I'm not going to review every single card that came in the set. I'm just going to highlight the key points that I think were good. So, starting right off, we're going to see a new Venusaur, which is not bad at all. It is a stage 2, so I do not like that at all. But yeah, what are you gonna do about that? But still, I mean, 140 HP. That's really good. It's gonna wall a lot of stuff. But this thing is all about its ability, which is Synthesis. Floral Scent. I'm sorry. It's called Floral Scent, which says choose one Pokemon card from your deck, show it to your opponent, and put it in your hand. So basically, he can kind of be a bench sitter, and you can just search your deck for any one Pokemon every turn. So that'll allow you to get evolutions up fast and get your techs up fast. So its attack is not so great. I mean, 4 energies and it does 70 damage, and it just poisons. It's not even like double poison or anything. So yeah, resistance to water can be okay. Weakness to fire. Fire is still floating around with Reshifusion and Reshiboar, so that's not ideal. But then you have a 4 retreat, so not awesome at all. But I still like it for the ability. I mean, maybe it can be played with Vileplume so it doesn't become a catcher target, or it can be played with Darkrai because all it needs is that one dark energy and it has free retreat. So who knows? We'll see how this guy gets along. Up next we have the Carnivine. It's a basic Pokemon, 90 HP, which, ain't too bad. Can easily be searched with Level Ball. Fire weak and 2 retreat costs, which both are ideally not very good. But it has some pretty decent attacks. First attack, it just requires a Grass Energy, can be easily used a Prism Energy, or, yeah, I'm not even getting that, but just a Prism Energy, or if you're running Celebi Mewtwo, maybe the Grass Energy already. You choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and switch it with their active Pokemon, and then that new Pokemon is poisoned. So maybe you can just drag out a big retreater, a big 4 retreater, like maybe the Venusaur, or Magnezone, Zekrom, Reshiram EX, whatever. Something with a big retreat, and just poison it, and the poison will take its toll for a couple turns until it either kills it, which is really wouldn't. I don't really think that would happen, but yeah. But its second attack is really nice. It says it's called Spit Blow. So basically, it just takes your opponent's active Pokemon and all the cards attached to it, and puts it back into their hand. So, say they got a Mewtwo, they have powered up to basically the max, and it's going to knock out everything on your side of the field. You can just return that whole thing back to their hand, and they have to power that thing up already. So, but also something I was thinking is, you got stage 2s out there, out floating around still every once in a while, and you can catch her up a stage 2 and send all that stuff back to their hands, so they have to restart over. So, I don't know. Venusaur and Carnivine, we'll just have to see how they play out. I mean, they definitely have some playability, but don't know so much about top tier playability. But anyway, next card is Blaziken. I love Blaziken. It's a freaking fighting chicken. It's awesome, which should be technically illegal in Pokemon, but what are you going to do? But, I mean, 140 HP again, which is great. 2 retreat and a weakness to water. So, Kyurem can't one-shot it with his Frozen Wings attack, and unless the normal Kyurem can't one-shot it unless it has a bunch of energy on it. So, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, that's basically the only big water-type attackers in the format right now, really. First attack called Blaze Kick. It only does 40 damage, but it has a coin flip. It says if you flip heads, it does an additional 30 damage, which is good. And if you flip tails, your opponent is now burned. So it's a win-win either way, really. And his second attack is Flamethrower, and it costs Fire, colorless, just like the normal Reshiram. And it does 130 damage, 1 more damage than the Reshiram. And you only discard 1 energy attached to Blaziken. So it's basically kind of like a Stage 2 version of a Reshiram, but a little bit better. So we'll see how this happens. I mean, there's some talkings about maybe burn decks getting big because of a card I'm going to be showing you here in a little bit, but who knows? I mean, this may actually be not bad. I mean, 130 damage, and you only discard 1 energy. Easily gonna be able to get that back with Typhlosion or Reshiram, Emboar. So I mean, who knows? This actually might see some playability. And my favorite card of the set, my favorite non-EX card of the set is this guy, Heatmor. And basically because the only thing I hate more than Vileplume is freaking Durant. And yeah, so Heatmor is the perfect check to Durant. He needs 1 colorless energy, and he is hitting a Durant for 120 damage. Now you see that, and you look at that, and you say it says 10 damage. How does that matter? How does that escalate to 120? Because the effect says if your opponent's active Pokemon is a Durant, the attack does 50 more damage. So it's doing 60 damage, which is just complete annihilation. And it requires a colorless energy, so it can be splashed in any deck. So basically, if you're going to see a Durant, if you're seeing Durant in your area, this guy is going to be on the table. There's no reason why one cannot be teched in every deck, really. It's easy to get. You can get it with Level Ball, you can get it with Collector, you can get it with Dual Ball, and it only requires 1 energy to one-hit KO Durant. The only way, really, a Durant can live a Heatmor kill is if it has Special Metal, Eviolite, they played a Defender, and then they would have to either play another Special Metal or another Defender. So yeah, how often do you really see that? It's not really going to happen. So pretty much that means dead Durants across the field, and I am very happy about that. Because I pretty much hate Durant more than any other card, because it's annoying. But anyway, moving on. This is the card I was talking about with the burn deck deal. This is Volcarona, and 110 HP, stage 1. So, I mean, kind of disappointing because because you can't get it out with level ball. So you're basically relying on communication or Professor Elm's training method to get it. And it has a 3 retreat, which is horrible. And it can be one-shotted by Kyurem EX. So, yeah, not awesome at all, but its ability is pretty beastly. It says as long as this Pokemon is in play, the number of damage counters placed on your opponent's burn Pokemon in between turns is now 4. So, that is pretty bad. Pretty bad. I mean, if you remember Crobat Prime, it had an attack called Severe Poison, and it just required one psychic energy, and it poisoned them, and they took 4 damage counters between turns. Burn is a little less good, I guess you can say, because it is a flip condition. So they can take either 8 damage in between turn, 8 damage, 4 damage, or 0 damage, really. By the time it comes back to you. So, not awesome, but who knows? This might say some playability. His attack, Heat Wind, does 70 damage. If you choose to, you can discard an energy and it burns them. So, Volcarona itself can burn things, which ain't bad. Who knows? We'll have to see if this thing can possibly make some play into the future. I kind of like it. I think it could work with some stuff here on the list. So, more namely the Blaziken and Entei EX. So, who knows? We'll see. And Slowbro, I really just have on here because I think it's absolutely hilarious. I mean, the thing is a horrible card. It has 100 HP, 3 retreat. It's weak to lightning. But I just thought it was absolutely hilarious because of its ability. And his attack, really. Because its ability is called Sky High. So this freaking Slowbro is high off his ass apparently half the game. So it says when you have 6, 4, or 2 fry cards remaining, this Pokemon can't use any attacks. So you have to have an odd number of prize cards for this thing to do anything, which is just completely hilarious. And its attack, it's like, It does 80 damage for 2 energy, so that's not bad. But it puts it to sleep, so that's freaking useless, pretty much. You hit for 80 damage, and you're stuck out there with nothing to do. So, yeah, I basically just put that in there because I thought it was funny. No other reason why. But, right now, next we have Empoleon. The Empoleon line is probably my fiance's favorite line just because it has Piplup in it, and Piplup is her favorite Pokemon of, like, all time. So, yeah. It's not bad, which is the reason why I put it in here. Because it got 140 HP for a Stage 2, which still is good. But it has a Lightning weakness and a 2 retreat. So, and with Lightning being giant right now, just completely crazy big right now, I don't really think this thing can be that good. I don't know. We'll have to see. But its ability says you just discard a card from your hand. It can be any card at all, and you get to draw 2 cards. So it's kind of like the Ninetales from Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Call of Legends. You're with Roast Reveal ability, Poke Power Body, whatever it's called. Where you just discard a fire energy, draw 3 cards. So it's kind of like a watered down version of that. So, but yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It can be a kind of a draw supporter for water decks. But yeah, its attack is kind of reminiscent of Jump Pluff, where it does 10 damage times the number of Pokemon in play, and it only requires 1 water energy. So imagine if you play like maybe a Pichu, and you fill your bench up, they fill their bench up. Next turn you can Rare Candy into this, attach a water energy, and you're hitting for 120 damage. So not bad at all. So yeah, we'll have to see if this can really see any playability in a lightning strong meta, but it has potential. I will just leave it at that. I do think it has potential. So yeah, really only card that's a non-EX that really struck me in the electric side was this, the Electros. It's 140 HP, stage 2 again, which is kind of reminiscent of everything in this set. 3 retreat and fighting weak, so it gets completely annihilated by Terrakion, and it has a terrible retreat unless you're running Darkrai. But I just kind of like it for the attack, his second attack, which is called Latch and Torment. Basically, you just grab a Pokemon from their bench, drag it up to the active position, and you just do 60 damage to it. So, I really can only see this as somebody playing in Eels. Maybe they can tech one in. I don't know. They can tech one in, and if somebody catches up an Eel, and they somehow have that much energy onto it, then they can use Latch and Torment and kill something on the back row. So I really don't see how this thing can see any playability because it is just completely horrible. It's just terrible damage output for a massive retreat and energy cost. So, but I thought it was kind of interesting. You don't really see that many attacks like that, so I decided to throw it on the list. So next Pokemon is the Espeon. And I love Espeon. Espeon is awesome. So yeah, 90 HP, easily searchable with Level Ball. It has Psychic Weak, so not ideal, especially with Mewtwo, and 1 retreat, which is kind of expected. But it has an ability called Solar Miracle. And it says, as long as this Pokemon is in play, prevent all effects of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks done to any of your Pokemon with energy attached to them. And we'll talk about it later, but Raikou EX, its main attack, Thunder Spear, I think it's called, something like that. No, Voltage Arrow. It's called Voltage Arrow. The damage of that attack, the 100 damage, is an effect of the attack. So if you want to guard anything, all you have to do is attach an energy to that Pokemon when Espeon is in play, and that Raikou can't snipe you. Can't snipe you anymore. So maybe this thing can be used alongside Vileplume to block the catcher, or maybe you can be used alongside of I don't really know what else. I mean, its attack is 60 damage for 3 energies, and you get to look at your opponent's hand, so not good at all, but who knows? I mean, it might see some play. Who knows? Next card I think is absolutely hammered shit, but it was a deck. It was part of the deck, so it has its own deck, so I will just freaking spotlight it a little bit. It has 100 damage, so it cannot be searched with freaking Level Ball, which is horrible. It has Dark Weak, which is getting really big right now, and it has 2 retreat. And it has just absolutely horrible attacks. Its first attack, a double colorless, it says Litter. Discard any number of Pokemon Tool cards from your hand. This attack does 40 damage times the number of cards discarded in this way. What? Why do I want to discard Pokemon Tools? I want to use them. It's just... Why? Whatever. And his second attack requires colorless... 2 psychic energies. Lock up. It does 40 damage, and your opponent can't retreat. So it's kind of just a terrible version of Druddigon from Noble Victories. So yeah, I think it's absolutely horrible. But I guess Pokemon thought it deserved its own deck. So yeah, there you go. Before you go buy the deck and think it's good, I at least got to show you what it does. Next card is Aerodactyl, which is a revived Pokemon. They're no longer called fossil Pokemon. They're called revived Pokemon. So the whole revival rule comes into play, and of course Aerodactyl's revival tool is Old Amber. But with the new stadium in play, which we will talk about later, this makes him a little bit more playable. His ability is really where it's all at. It's basically like a permanent plus power. It's called Primal Scream, and it says as long as this Pokemon is in play, your Pokemon attacks do an additional 10 damage to any active Pokemon. So that's pretty dang good. I mean, you wouldn't have to worry about hoping you get a plus power just so you can not attach 3 energy to your Mewtwo and one hit KO their Mewtwo. So yeah, it's pretty dang good. Grass weak, which nobody really plays grass right now except for maybe Virizion. And yeah, it's not bad at all. It has a 1 retreat, which is expected to hit, which is especially it is Aerodactyl after all. But unfortunately, because it is a revived Pokemon, it cannot take advantage of Skyra Bridge. So yeah. Anyway, permanent plus power, that might see some playability. I honestly do think, because who wants to beg and junk arm for plus powers? Yeah. Next card is where we're getting into my favorite part of the set, is the Dark type Pokemon. And I know the Umbreon is released, but it is just horrible. So I didn't really feel the need to talk about it at all. But here we got Sableye, and I love Sableye. Sableye is one of my favorite Pokemon, just because it was the first Pokemon that had no weakness whatsoever. Naturally had no weakness whatsoever because of his Dark and Ghost typing, which is awesome. But yeah, it's 70 HP, so easily searchable with Level Ball, easily searchable with Dual Ball, and Collector, because it is a basic Pokemon. Its first attack, it requires a colorless energy, and it's Confused Ray, so what do you expect? You do 10 damage, and you flip a coin, and they're confused. But yeah, it has no weakness, no resistance, which I think should be colorless. I really do think they need to start making Ghost Pokemon colorless resistant again. But whatever, what are we going to do? And it has 1 retreat, so can take advantage of Skyra Bridge. And it has an attack for 1 dark energy called Junk Hand, which is kind of like a 2 junk arms in 1 attack, where you choose 2 trainer cards from your discard pile, show them to your opponent, and put them into your hand. Now, notice that it says trainer cards. It does not say item cards. With the new rules of Black and White, supporters, stadiums, and items are all classified as trainer cards. So who knows? I mean, I've been playing it as you can only get item cards, but we will have to see how that translation works out, because that would be really cool if you can freaking reuse your if you can reuse freaking supporters. That might be awesome. This thing might be completely incredible, because it can take advantage of Prism Energy, it can take advantage of Dark Patch. This thing could completely blow up and be a staple in every deck, just because of that Junk Hand attack, because that's really the only thing that could potentially allow you to reuse supporters. So yeah, I mean, we will see how that translation all works out. And yeah, so next 2 Pokemon right now, we have freaking a new Zoroark, which I am completely stoked about, and a new Zoroark, which I am even more stoked about. Zoroark and Zorua are 2 of my favorite Pokemon of all time. I mean, Hydreigon is obviously, if you guys cannot tell by now, is my number 1, but Zoroark is a very close second. And of course, Zorua gets thrown in there because he is his evolution. But let's start with Zorua. 50 HP, what do you expect? Really would have liked it to be 60. Its Psychic Resistance would help it wall Mewtwo a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. And Fighting weak, but if you have this guy on first turn, Terrakion can't hit on first turn unless it's really lucky. And it has 1 retreat, so it can take advantage of Skyra Bridge. It has a double colorless attack, which seems like every Zorua, except for the Emerging Power Zora, has a double colorless attack, and it does 20 damage. But this card, where it shines, is that first attack. It's called Ascension. I don't remember if you guys remember, but there was a card in Platinum, it was a Ponyta, that had the same attack. but it was a flip. This you just go, you search your deck for a Pokemon that evolves from this Pokemon, so it would be a Zoroark, and you get to play it on top of the Zorua. So you can, it's kind of like Shelmet and Carablast, but you don't have to have anything except for that dark energy, that one dark energy on it. And yeah, so it's really good. You can have a turn 1 Zoroark and be ready for a foul play or a brutal rush or a dark rush on the next turn. It's pretty dang good. And who can compete with a turn 1 Zoroark? That's just awesome. And then just going to move on to Zoroark itself. Its first attack, it does 20 damage times the number of dark Pokemon you have in play. So basically, he's kind of like a dark type Cinccino from Black and White. It caps at 120 damage if you have 6 dark Pokemon in play. But, I mean, still, 120 damage for a double colorless energy, that's pretty badass. And you don't have to discard energy. Its second attack, Dark Rush, is kind of disappointing. It does 20... Well, actually, it's not bad at all, really. Because it's a little bit different than that Outrage and stuff. But it does 20 damage times the number of damage counters on this Pokemon. So, let's say it has 90 damage on it. I am horrible at math, so I'm going to actually get out the calculator. So 20 times 9. That's hitting for 180 damage. Which, yeah, that's one hit KOing everything in the format without an Eviolite. Which is pretty badass from stage 1. I know it kind of gets outshined by Shaman, but, I mean, yeah, what you going to do? Because it's a basic, but pretty dang good attack, especially if you can somehow get 90 damage on that Zoroark without getting knocked out. Who knows? Maybe it can be used with Donphan or maybe even the new Flash Impact Luxray or something that damages the bench. We'll have to see. I mean, I really only see this card good for the first attack Brutal Bash because it's kind of splashable. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good card. I mean, it gets its own deck. Already, and I will be mad if this thing is not the pre-release promo. I'm just throwing that out now, because, yeah, this thing is awesome. But anyway, moving on. The next card is Blissey. I hate Blissey. I completely hate this. I hate this Pokemon. It's fat. It's ugly. It's just plain flat out stupid. And so anyway, I'm going to get over that. But 130 HP for a stage 1. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. It is fighting weak. So yeah, not good against Terrakion, obviously. And it has a 3 retreat, which is crap. But it's all about his ability. Every turn you can flip a coin. If heads, you heal 30 damage from your active Pokemon. So yeah. Basically, this is kind of just like a watered-down, crappy version, in my opinion, of Blissey Prime. I really don't see this thing getting much play, and if it does see any play, it's just basically going to be in place of Blissey Prime itself. So, because it can be a bench sitter and just heal 30 damage possibly every turn. But I mean, the ability cannot be reused with Victory Star from the Victini, and it has a horrible attack. It does 90 damage, and the Blissey does 60 damage to itself if it does somehow attack. So who knows? I mean, I personally would choose Blissey Prime over this thing if I had to, but yeah. And I completely skipped Steel because there's nothing in Steel that's good, in my opinion. I mean, it's just horrible. But yeah, let's move on. Getting into the trainers, there's one supporter in the set, but it's just horrible, so I'm not even going to talk about it. But getting into the trainers, we have a trainer here called Crash Hammer. which allows you to choose one special energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon and discard it. Yeah, kind of sound familiar. Loss remover, but it goes into the discard. But why does it matter? I mean, there's not really anything that can pull cards out of the discard. Special energy out of the discard. That's really big right now. So, yeah. Moving on, we got the Dark Patch, which is one of the most looked forward to cards of the set. Which basically it just helps dark type Pokemon with energy acceleration, which they have been desperately needing. It's kind of like because all you get to do is choose a basic dark energy from your discard pile. So you can't get special dark energy back, which would be awesome, but of course it has to be basic dark. And attach it to one of your bench darkness Pokemon. What is up with freaking Pokemon and their energy acceleration since Noble Victories? Why does it always have to go to a benched Pokemon? I don't get it. I mean, what was wrong with Emboar? What was wrong with Typhlosion and Feraligatr and all the other good energy accelerators? I don't. It kind of takes me off. But what are you gonna do? I mean, next we got a reprint of Rare Candy. I mean, what more do I have to say? That's really just a throw in because I thought it was cool that they were reprinting Rare Candy. So we will get to keep that. Next is a new Pokemon tool, which is really cool. Basically, it's a Pokemon tool tailor-made just for Dark-type Pokemon. It basically acts like two special Dark energies thrown on whenever you throw it onto a Darkness-type Pokemon. It boosts their attack power to only the active Pokemon, so it acts like that like the special Dark. And it just boosts the attack power by 20, which is awesome. The next one is the new stadium that I was telling you about. It's called Twist Mountain, and it's pretty much tailor-made for revived Pokemon. It says each player may flip a coin once during his or her turn. If heads, he or she chooses one revived Pokemon card from his or her hand and plays it onto his or her bench. So this actually might make Archeops and Turtoga and the new Aerodactyl playable. Because I mean, it kind of can be used as a counter stadium if you're playing the fossils, so it can get rid of their Sky Arrow bridges, which is really cool. And it can also be used just to set up a deck that I think might see some playability, which is Jirachi, Archeops, and Mewtwo, and possibly Celebration Wind Shaman. So basically, I mean, this card may see some definite playability, and I'm happy to see it coming around. So, because revived Pokemon have definitely been needing it. And yeah, just moving on to the secret rares. Nothing too awesome. I mean, we get a reprint of the ability the new Gardevoir, which is really cool. I don't really see why we have to get a reprint of a card that just came out, but whatever. We're getting a reprint of Archeops, which I think is kind of ironic since they're getting which is actually kind of cool because they're getting a tailor-made stadium for revived Pokemon and a golden Pokemon catcher. I mean, look at that thing. Who would not want to play 3 or 4 of those in their deck? I mean, that thing just looks awesome. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up because this is freaking already 30 minutes long, and I'm just going to end it right here, and I'm going to make a separate video for the EXs. So look forward to that. Thank you for watching the first episode of my new PokeXhibit. Alright, I'm going to end this, and deuce it.